Alright guys, welcome back. We are going on a thrifting adventure today in Goodwill at the bins. So, walking through the door here. My local bins is pretty neat. I normally focus on the hard goods. As you can see, there's a lot of people there that go after the clothes. The bins for the clothes are overpacked, and I don't like going through them, so I like to go after the hard goods. This type of stuff I like to pick up. So as soon as I walk in, I find a lot of different like DVD players and VHS players and stuff like that, and I add those into my cart. I find this nice Dakin or Dakin backpack. You'll see at the end I actually fill the cart, and then by the time I finish with this first row, I think only the backpack actually survives. There might be one or two other things. I spot this pink owl from Gantz. Gantz is a decent brand, throw it in the cart. Turned out not to really be worth anything, so I just left it. These Nikes here, I felt that they would have done a little bit better, but when I remember after looking them up, they must not have been worth much of anything. And we're digging through here a little bit more. There was a lot of stuff that I edited out. The bins this day for shoes and stuff they would have been pretty good, except for mostly everything only had one shoe. So actually, at one point I actually grabbed a whole bunch of them, just so I could try to look up to see if they were worth grabbing, and they would have been, but I never found the mates. And here we go, we're going through here. I pick up this foldable luggage garment bag. Turned out not to be anything. I remember I actually picked up one recently that was Samsonite, and that seems like it was pretty good, so I actually kept that one. That was a few bins hauls ago. We got another DVD player here again. I was just kind of filling the cart, and then when I finished the end of a row, I would go through and see if it was worth it. Same here, you know, some L'Oreal, you know, makeup, or that's hair dye, I think it was, and might have been worth something, but turned out not to be. You know, if they get retired, different colors and stuff like that, that can still be worth it. See here, I'm just checking out these shoes. We're going through, and this big plush. I don't think it was a brand that I really cared about, so I just kind of put that back in the bin. But then I found this awesome looking, I think this like Lego set or Lego racing set, something like that. About to come up right about here. Here it is. It was really cool, but just wasn't really worth keeping. It just wasn't very valuable. Another VCR here. I think that one just didn't power on at all when I went to go take it and checked it to see if it was working. Yeah, I kept leaving my cart all the way down far away from me and then had to keep walking back to go get it. We got this this Hot Wheels Bigfoot toy. Again, like I said, mostly everything you see me pick up here and put into the cart just ends up actually going right back into the bins after I actually look it all up. See there? Just the backpack. That was the only thing that was worth keeping after I comped everything out. But I was just doing this one row at a time. Now you see here, this extra tough boot. I found only one here, and then by the end I found the other one, and it was in a different bin. So I actually ended up grabbing those. And then this little Cobra radar detector. I only pick it up because Cobra's a good brand, and it's not really, you know, it doesn't really weigh anything. You know, everything here is $1.89 a pound. I grabbed these Disney cups. They weren't worth anything either. I mean, there was 3 of them in total that I ended up finding, and they probably wouldn't have cost me much, but I just didn't really want to be bothered with them. They didn't look like they sold very fast at all. Like, you know, would have sat in my store for 2 years or something, and I didn't really want to deal with all that. Another was this one? I think a Magnavox audio receiver. I ended up not grabbing that at the end either. This was pretty interesting. This is a slide projector, and it had a remote and the lens and everything, and I actually ended up harvesting the lens and the remote and the plug from it because the unit itself just wasn't functioning properly. But still a little bit of money to be made there. This Stanley thermos, you'll see I'll talk about that at the end. I looked at it, has a model number on it. I didn't know they had model numbers, so it's a good way to find out if it was worth picking up or not. It's a cute little plush. I like these little squishy things. My son likes them too. I thought this Hello Kitty would be a little bit better, but she wasn't. But right here, the best find of them all. It's coming up. This little Vera Bradley purse is not what I'm talking about. But I should have left this behind, actually. I didn't realize how damaged it was at the top, but it's all good. I mean, it was only going to cost me, 70 cents. There we go. Yes, that's Hello Kitty. Clock radio, CD player, cassette player, radio was my favorite find of the day. There's also another, this pair was actually really good. They were dirty as all get out, but took some scrubbing. They are now actually scrubbed and listed on my store. They didn't come out completely clean though, unfortunately. I picked up this little backpack for a friend of mine. Not to resell. I probably could have resold it, but there's a big stain there on the front, but I know she'll like it anyway, so I picked it up for her. Here we go. Here goes that other boot. So I had to go back and pick out the other one. These, I wanted these so bad, and they didn't have the matching shoe. These Bob's, I forget what they were called exactly, but they're like a black cat Bob's shoe from Skechers. They would have been worth good money. And they did not have the matching pair, and that made me sad. So I had to leave it behind. I was so sad though. I actually didn't talk about this in my recap here. I found this Life game with this little electronic thing, and I stick that in my cart. It was actually worth picking up, if not to sell whole, but to sell as parts. This cute little teacher's pet coloring book. Or not coloring book, reading book, whatever the heck it's called. It's cute, it doesn't weigh anything, so in the cart it goes, and it actually stays, it makes its way towards, makes its way to the end. So, I was happy to get that. And here's everything that we ended up picking up, and let's go check it out. Alright guys, back here again. Now, we just... those videos you saw of me at the bins, that was quite a few days ago. I stopped at a couple stores later on during that day that I didn't end up recording anything. So you'll see here, there's some stuff here like that, these DVDs and stuff that I didn't pick up while I was at the bins, but let's just dive into everything we got. For this video, most of the stuff I was focusing on was more of just what has decent sell-through rate. So I pretty much wrote me some notes to talk to you guys about all that stuff. So first off, we are going to start off here with this copy of The Kennedys on Blu-ray, 3-disc Blu-ray set. Nothing super special, I picked it up for $4. I mean, you'll see the comps. It's not a ton, but it should sell pretty quickly. Because it's got 5 used listed, and there are 8 sold, so over 100% sell-through rate on that. This one here, though, Spring Breakers, this one was actually pretty decent, especially the comp I'll show you. But there are 9 used copies of this DVD listed and 30 sold. So that is over a 300% sell-through rate, which is fantastic. And then be on the lookout when you guys are selling Blu-rays or DVDs that have these slip covers here. There's a copy there. I believe the comp was like $20 or something just because it had the slip cover. Probably my favorite find of the day. Unfortunately, I did just test something out on this, and the CD player is not working. I don't have a ton of experience with fixing these types of things, but I might actually just try that myself on this one just to get a better, better return on it. Now, mind you, everything that I bought at the bins all came out to about, I think it was $36. So you'll see here these Hello Kitty radios, this Hello Kitty KT2028A radio. Huge bolo. There is only currently 30 listed, and there is 30 sold for when you type in that exact model number. So this thing will net me probably, I think even without the CD player working, I should still be looking at between 50 and 80. I just got to do a little cleanup and stuff on it, and it does help that the cassette player actually works. So next up, we've got this Technics SA GX350. I don't even remember exactly what this is, to be honest with you. But as all I know is that when I show you the comp, it's going to show that there are 27 listed, but there's actually only 7 of the actual unit itself. And then there are 4 of the actual units themselves that sold. But on the other hand, there's also 5 that are just the remotes that sold. And the remotes sell for $20 to $25. So regardless, for $7.99 I picked this up. I cannot lose out on it. Now, the funny thing about this was, while I was at the store, they had a different receiver with this remote. And so, I don't know. You guys tell me, is it bad to do? Is it not bad to do? Like, I saw the remote. I knew the remote went to this one, not the unit that they had it with. I think it was even a different company. So, I mean, I peeled back the tape and I stuck the remote with the correct receiver. It just seems to make sense that the right thing goes with the right thing. You tell me if I'm wrong or not, but I mean, I don't know. I do that. A lot of the times at the thrift stores, they don't seem like they're super interested in being well educated about what they're putting together. They'll just slap anything together. So next up from that binge trip, we've got this Cobra. I don't even know what it is. I just remember seeing it in the bin. I knew the brand Cobra was good. It's like a radar detector or something like that for a car. This is an XRS9530. Again, with the comps, there is going to be 13 that show listed, but it's actually only 2 are actual units that have sold, and then that are actually listed, and then 2 actual units have sold. 1 brand new in the box, 1 pre-owned. The cheapest pre-owned I think that's listed was $35, $34, something like that. And I'm just going to undercut that guy's price. I didn't have a lot into this. I still have to plug it into my car. Luckily, it came with the power cable and everything, so I can just plug that up and see if that works. But another thing, too, that I also look out for, especially if I'm doing trips to the bins, is not necessarily what the sell-through rate of something is, but just knowing how low you're getting it, so you can actually play with the prices a lot better, too. So, if you're getting something for super cheap, there's no reason why you can't be the one to pick it up and make yours the lowest priced available, just so that when the next one that does sells, it's yours. Here we go. We've got this Teacher's Pet, a learning book. This is pretty cute. I saw this in the bin, and, this isn't going to sell for a ton of money. It's not going to sell super quickly, but it didn't weigh anything, and that's also another thing. When you're paying by the pound, I believe that bin's up there is $1.89 a pound, something like that. So, not too bad. This doesn't weigh hardly anything, so it doesn't really cost you anything. So for what essentially comes out to be about a quarter, there are 13 listed and 3 sold, but one of the sold for $20 some odd, and so I'm just going to copy that person's listing, and hopefully mine goes for the same amount. That person might have been using different keywords, might have been using different descriptions and stuff in the title, just whatever it was that made theirs sell for a higher value than what the other ones that are listed are selling for. And that is not a bad strategy if you see something like that. I did that once with a plush I found at a thrift store. You know, if you took a picture of it and looked it up on eBay, I think it was only selling for like $8 or something like that. Well, I copied somebody who sold theirs for 40, and you know, I sent out an offer for 35 to somebody, and they took it and bought mine. Again, I don't know what the big deal was. It was the same as the other 400 that were listed, but that is another way that I try to make more money when I'm reselling. Here we go. We've got these Carhartt. Carhartt in my area is actually really, really hard to come across. But I do know the brand, and so I saw this marked for, you know, $3.99. So I just knew it had to be a pickup. These Carhartt thermal pants, you know, basically long johns. These are a size 4X, which means that I can actually ask for a bit of a premium. Bigger sizes are hard to come by, so, you know, somebody might actually pay up a little bit on that. You'll see that there, too, with that pair of boots. But there are 7 Carhartt thermal pants in this cream color listed, and there are 7 sold. So 100% sell-through rate. And I will try to get, you know, even if I get $15 plus shipping, you know, it's a $10 profit on something that I know won't stay around for a long time. And I know we'll be selling better now that it is starting to get colder out. This was my other favorite find of the day. These Nike Hypervenom Fell-On 2 shoes. Now, mind you, I didn't know all of those words I just said to you. I had to look them up. So here, I saw these Nike. I saw on the side, they say Hypervenom. But if you're wanting to get more accurate names or descriptions or even colors or whatever you want to say, inside, especially with Nikes, there is a code here. It says 749896-308. When you type that code into eBay, it'll show you that there are currently 0 of that code listed and 2 sold. But if you go in and you type in Nike Hypervenom Fell-On 2, you will see that there's 132 listed and 100 sold. If you just did Nike Hypervenom, there's 1,300 listed and 800 sold. So, but I did see that when I typed in Fell-On 2 and then went into the sold comps and looked for the ones in this color, this mint color. By the way, these are filthy and going to take me forever to clean, and I'm really lazy when it comes to cleaning shoes. But anyway, that's a different tangent. You'll see that some of these, like, when I did the 0 listed, 2 sold, the 2 sold, the mint one was only sold for about, I think, $30 or $40. But when I did the full name of the Fell-On 2, when I found the mint ones, they were selling between, I think there was a pair that sold for $100. So, you know, it's just all about how you title your listing and stuff like that. Next up here, we've got this Stanley. It is a Aladdin Stanley thermos. Now, you would think to yourself, like, well, you know, what do you do with this? You know, like, I've heard that Stanley's pretty good. Maybe I should pick them up. Well, you can get even more details on almost everything that you look up if you just look for the model numbers. So on this one, this is a Stanley A-943C. And you'll see in the comps here, there are 20 listed and 11 sold. So a little over 50%, you know, 55% basically of a... I'm sorry, a little over 50% regardless. 50% sell-through rate, which means that it won't stay around for forever. It will take probably longer than 90 days to sell, unless I price it super competitively. Again, I mean, this was pretty heavy. Maybe I should have left it behind, but it probably came out to about $2. It's $2 into about 20-ish, it looks like. Not too bad in my book. Over here, I've got this pair. I didn't know what these were, actually. There was one in one bin and one in another when I was looking through the bins. And I realized that they were a matching set, so then I went and grabbed the other one and stuck them together and sat there and looked them up. These are extra tough boots with express cool. Again, another filthy pair of boots. Another thing that will take me forever to clean. But there's currently 35 listed and 14 sold, so a little less than 50%. And I try not to pick up stuff that's going to be down that low, but you know, when I was only paying $36 for everything, and I knew that the Hello Kitty alone was going to pay for the entire trip, lets you be a little bit more liberal, if you will, with what you're picking up. And you can really only do that at the bins. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you go into a regular Goodwill or regular thrift store and you find something that's worth $500, I feel that it's not such a bad thing in my own personal store, but other resellers would disagree with me about you could be a little bit more liberal with some of the other stuff that you pick up. Again, you still want stuff that's easier to comp. In my own experience, I know some people sell completely just unique items. It's not something that works for my business model, because if I don't know what it is, I don't really feel like doing the homework on it or coming up with a creative title to try to list it. So, but again, these were also, I forgot to mention, here we go on the inside. These are men's 14. So again, those bigger sizes, those harder to find sizes. You know, there's not as many size 14 wearers out there. So I picked those up because, well, I might be able to ask a little bit more for them, because somebody with feet that big, they might have to pay up a little bit because they have a harder time finding stuff. I forget what this is called, I'm not going to lie. I'll throw up a couple comps and whatnot just so you get the name of it. But there was a slide projector, a really old vintage slide projector. I stuck it in my cart and wheeled it around with me for a little bit. I plugged it in and it powered on, but it wasn't getting the light wasn't working properly. And when you, the slide mechanism wasn't working. So what I ended up doing was just harvesting the lens from that and the power cable and the remote control from that. I figured that these are the types of things that people who have maybe just the machine might end up needing the power cable, or just a lens if maybe the lens cracks or they lose the lens or something like that. So again, not really paying very much for this stuff. So just add it on, stick it in a box, put it in my inventory, and wait for it to sell. Next up, we've got this Vera Bradley turn lock wallet. Mind you, I did not know the word turn lock. Again, I'm not very well versed in especially women's clothing and accessories and purses. This didn't really cost me anything. Again, you know, it weighs way less than a pound. Probably only a few cents, maybe 75 cents into this. If this was even, you know, $1, $2, $5 at a thrift store, this is not the type of thing I would pick up. Vera Bradley is a well-known name, but it is not something that I feel demands, you know, a high sell-through rate like Coach and Prada and stuff like that. But for the low price of basically, you know, 75, 80 cents, I felt like it was worth picking up. Upon closer inspection, it is pretty worn here at the top. So even with as low of a price as I paid for it, I probably would still leave this behind. If there's anyone watching that could tell me what this pattern, what I should call this, like it looks like a snakeskin pattern, but obviously, you know, this is cloth material. But anyway, these Vera Bradley turn lock wallets, there's 700 listed and 300 sold, and I will just throw this up for a few bucks, you know, 10, 15 bucks plus shipping. See if it sells. Disclose that it has these little tears here at the front, at the tops, and just deal with it that way. It's not that big of a deal. Again, it didn't cost very much. I do wish the sell-through rate was higher than 40%. And this last item here is this Dakeen, I think I'm pronouncing that right, Heli Pro backpack. So I almost left this behind. At first I just looked up Dakeen backpack, and you know, there was a bajillion listings and not that many sold in comparison. And then I saw down here this Heli Pro, and so then I typed in Dakeen Heli Pro backpack, and I saw, whoa, the sell-through rate's actually pretty decent. And then I did some further investigation and found out that this is the Dakeen Heli Pro 20 liter or 20L. And with that much information, I knew that the sell-through rate was 47 listed and 25 sold. So almost 50%, or no, a little bit higher than 50%. But they are used for like skiing and stuff like that, and we're getting into the colder months, so I believe the sell-through rate on an item like this will actually go up. The negative parts about this was that it's missing some of these little tags, or some of the little zipper things here. I'll just disclose that in my listing, but these had a pretty good price range, somewhere in like the $40-$50 price range. And that's what I'll try to get for this one. I'll probably have to throw this one into the wash and, you know, deal with it there. But that is everything, guys. So thank you for coming along on this thrifting adventure with me. I think we did a pretty good job. So if you could do me a favor, make a comment, put up a like, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And I will see you guys next time.